Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News Update. The New South Wales Nurses and Midwives Association says its Hunter members are struggling to cope with extreme staff shortages due to the COVID pandemic, and they expect things to get worse with students returning to school. Last week, 79 nurses at the John Hunter Hospital were forced into COVID isolation and 20 nurses at Belmont Hospital. The numbers have dropped slightly this week to 63 and 17. The union says staff are being asked to work unreasonable hours to cover shifts. Meanwhile, Labor is ramping up its attack on the Morrison government over the continuing staffing crisis in aged care in the Hunter. ALP candidate for Hunter, Daniel Rapicoli, says he's spoken to many workers in the sector who say they're at breaking point. One from Cessnock told of having to do 12-hour shifts for 14 days straight. He says the government's $800 bonus offer this week is just a vote-buying exercise and doesn't address the need for improved pay and conditions. The Hunters pubs and clubs are preparing for life as normal, with hopes the region's shadow lockdown is nearly over. The state government says it will fund 5,000 places in responsible service of alcohol courses, but it's not known how these will be distributed across the state. Australian Hotels Association Newcastle Hunter President Michael Starkey says new staff will be especially necessary once the pandemic is out the door.
Bringing on some new people, some fresh faces into the industry, with the university opening back up and a new cohort of people moving to town, I think any kind of encouragement to come and work in the hospitality sector is positive.
A man is due to face court next week on domestic violence charges following a police operation at Kurri Kurri. Officers tried to speak to a man at a Brunker Road address, but he ran off before being arrested a short distance away. The 35-year-old from Western has been charged with assault occasioning actual bodily harm and destroy or damage property. He faced Cessnock Court yesterday and was refused bail to reappear in the same court next Wednesday. A new exhibition by Newcastle architecture students is hoping to shed some light on what the Wangi Power Station could be repurposed for. The Wangi Library Creative Hub is showing off the designs until the end of March, including a giant gin distillery, a circus venue and a dive centre. The power station site is privately owned but now up for sale. Creative Hub business leader Priya Matthew Johnson says some of the ideas are eccentric but could work in the real world.
I think there's definitely potential for it to be included in the site because it's a really massive site and it's got potential for it to be a really multi-purpose mixed-use site. So I think some ideas like the art gallery or perhaps even sort of like a bathhouse or a restaurant, that sort of ideas can definitely be included and it's got the space.
One of the Hunter's much-loved animal sanctuaries has been recognised with a state award. The Oakdale Wildlife Park at Saltash has taken out the Best Tourist Attraction gong at the New South Wales Tourism Awards. Meanwhile, the Swansea Lakeside Holiday Park took out silver in the Caravan and Holiday Parks category.
2NURFM Sport.
The Jets have defeated the Brisbane Roar 2-1 at McDonald Jones Stadium last night thanks to a second-half goal by midfielder Angus Thurgate. The visitors tied the game in the 64th minute before Thurgate hit a low and powerful strike which saw Newcastle come away with the 3 points.
Here's Thurgate. Angus Thurgate! What a hit! The Jets lead restored through a crowd of players and past Macklin Freak, and the Jets contingent go wild.
The club now turns their attention to Wednesday's match against Perth in Wollongong. Redheads' Daniel Collins has maintained his top 10 position in the third round of the Nutrigrain Ironman series at Kurrawa yesterday. Collins has moved to outright 7th in the standings, with the top 10 qualifying for next summer's competition. And Hunter surfer Marley Emanuel has narrowly missed booking a spot in the semi-finals of the World Surf League season opener in Hawaii. And the winning numbers in Powerball are 11, 16, 18, 21, 22, 26 and 31, and the Powerball is 8. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.